Hey, come here. Not that close. Come a little bit. Hey, so check this out. I got a secret to tell you. I'm going to show you 10 bottles that drink way above their price point. Now, don't tell nobody. This is between us. Welcome to another episode of Whiskeys. All right, so like we mentioned, we're going to show you 10 whiskeys where I feel drink way above their price point, meaning that when it comes to like something rare, usually people pay a lot of money for these rare whiskeys. Now, what makes a whiskey rare? Well, maybe there's not a lot of it and the age is high. And so if the age statement is high and there's not a lot made, that makes it rare and they can pretty much put any price on it. But is those rare whiskeys better than some of the whiskeys you have right in your store? The answer is no. I've had rare whiskeys over the last several years, and I'm telling you, I can honestly say that some of the ones that are right in the local store rival, if not beat, some of those rare whiskeys. Now, the last two whiskeys I'm gonna show you have beat $2,000 whiskey. The last two bottles that you can get in the store right now today, in a blind, beat a $2,000 bottle of whiskey. And then we're gonna get into that a little bit later. And I'm gonna let you know too what I'm sipping on at the end too as well. This is something special. All right, so that first bottle we feel drinks way above its price point is none other than Legent or Legit. This stuff is absolutely phenomenal. It's like a sherry bomb. It has a lot of caramel notes in there, the traditional bourbon notes, but it has that sherry finish, and it really drinks way above its price point. It's only like $42. That's why we put it at number 10 on our list. This is number 10. The number 9 comes out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and they are doing some phenomenal stuff down in New Riff. This stuff is absolutely delicious. This stuff is incredible. I mean, the first time I had this one, I was blown away from it. Now, the regular straight whiskey, I didn't care for it too much. But when it opened up, it did get better. But this one in particular, I'm telling you, it is really good. And it's only 40, 50 bucks. You can't beat that. It drinks way above its price point. Now, I'm not gonna say it drinks special, but it drinks way above its price point. So our next one. Our next one is Barrel Seagrass. Now, this one to me is such a delicious sip. And it has so many different characteristics that change as you work your way down. It turns into something completely different because it's finished in so many different barrels. It's finished in like a rum barrel, a brandy barrel, and it's truly a phenomenal sip. Now, they say it's a rye, which it is, but it does not taste like a rye. It's super sweet. Has a lot of sweet notes. You do get a little spices, and that's probably where that rye comes through. But I honestly feel you would absolutely enjoy this. And it is on the higher end, but it drinks way above its price point. It has so much going on in it. You would think this was probably a $200 to $300 bottle. All right, so now we're moving on to our next bottle. Now this one comes out of Heaven Hill. This is none other than a heavily allocated, heavily sought after, not really. You find a lot of these in the store, right? Larceny barrel proof bourbon. And a lot of times people don't know how delicious this is. A lot of people pass it up, especially last year's. If you could find a C923 or any of the C's, any of the 23s last year. I haven't had any this year, but last year's batch to me was just on another level. They were absolutely delicious. Caramel bomb, vanilla, toffee notes were in there. And then you do get those rye spices in the back because it's a barrel proof. But it is a wheated whiskey, a wheated bourbon, and it is truly a phenomenal sip. And so this one right here is a delicious one. And this is number 10, 9, 8, 7. Now we're going to number 6. Now number 6 comes out of Brown-Forman. None other than Jack Daniel's barrel proof whiskey. I almost said bourbon, which it is a bourbon, but it's not a bourbon. It's a Tennessee whiskey, which is a long story, and maybe we'll do an episode on why Jack Daniels don't call themselves bourbon. But anyway, this stuff is incredible. If you can find one, which you can, because they're generally in every store. But these things drink way above their price point. They run about 69 to 70 bucks, maybe a little higher, a little bit lower, depending on your area. But they are truly a delicious whiskey. Now they are cask strength or a barrel proof. So this one in particular is 129.6 proof. And so a lot of times, if you just let this sit on maybe a nice cube, ice cube, 1 cube, and let it just sit, or you can drink it neat, slow and steady, man, this stuff wins the race. This is incredible. This one drinks way above its price point, in my humble opinion. I'm not encouraging these distilleries to raise their prices. Let me say that. What I'm helping you to appreciate is that there's some stuff out there. You don't have to chase down the rare stuff. There's some stuff right in the local liquor store that you can find that drinks just as delicious. And we're going to show you the last final two that won blinds against a very heavily sought after whiskey. So it just goes to show that sometimes it's not always best to spend more. Sometimes less is more. All right, so now we're moving on to our next one. Number 5 is none other than Bulleit 12-year rye. Bulleit 12-year rye. Oh my goodness. This ain't nothing but a delicious rye. This is absolutely incredible. Now, I will say this though. If you're not really into ryes, this is not an introductory rye. But if you enjoy ryes, you will enjoy this one because you'll be able to taste the age. Now, I say it's 12 years on here, but word has it that it has up to 17-year-old whiskey in this. So not only are you getting the age statement, you're getting a delicious blend and a delicious sip for less than 54 or 55 bucks. I think it may be 59. I think the highest I've seen it. And so at one time, I think they saying they were a limited release, but I'm seeing more and more of them in the store. So this one's sitting on the shelves, and a lot of people don't know how delicious it is, especially if you enjoy ryes. And it's a 17-year-old whiskey for $59. You can't beat that. All right. So that is number 5. Now we're going to number 4. Number 4 also comes out of Brown-Forman, but this one is the Jack Daniel's barrel proof rye. Oh my goodness. Now, this one, to me, when it first came out, they were kind of sparse. They weren't necessarily readily available, but now you find them everywhere. You find the store picks of these, you find them. These are pretty much on every shelf now. These are truly incredible. Now, this one I have here is 133.2 proof. And so it's what's that? 7 proofs off of a hazmat. So it's truly a phenomenal drink. To me, I like it just a little bit better than the barrel proof whiskey. This one, the barrel proof, Tennessee whiskey. And this is the rye. I like it just a slight better. And of course, you're going to get those banana notes that you get from Brown-Forman. But this is truly a phenomenal sip. Drinks way above its price point, in my humble opinion. All right. So that moves on to number 3. Now, this one here is a local whiskey. And I've done a review on this one in the past, but I'm telling you, Journeyman's Distillery are doing some phenomenal stuff, and this one drinks way above its price point. This is Corset Whips whiskey. Absolutely phenomenal. This is some incredible stuff. It's handmade organic wheat that they use in order to make it. But when I say this tastes just like you take some Weathers candy, like that caramel candy, and you just melt it down and maybe drizzle a little vanilla on it, and it adds cask strength. Oh man, this stuff is absolutely delicious. And this is a cask strength. It's 100% wheat whiskey, and it is truly a phenomenal sip. All right, so that's number 3 on my list. Now, number 2, remember I said that there's 2 bottles that beat a $2,000 bottle of whiskey. Now, we're talking about George T. Stagg. This particular bottle won a blind some years ago, and this is none other than Wild Turkey Rare Breed Barrel Proof Bourbon. Come on now, you cannot go wrong with this particular whiskey. This is absolutely a traditional bourbon on steroids. All the traditional bourbon notes. You're gonna get a little butterscotch. You're gonna get the caramel. You're gonna get the cinnamon. You're gonna get the vanilla, the toffee. All of that rests within this particular sip. And it's only like $54. This is incredible whiskey. This drinks way above its price point. It's only like maybe 7 years, I think, between 4 to 7 years old. So you're not necessarily going to get the age, but as far as the flavor notes, oh my goodness, incredible. Now, to me, the best whiskey that drinks way above its price point is coming out of Heaven Hill, and it is none other than Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Bourbon. This stuff right here is absolutely incredible. And although this one in particular has 11 years on it, they oftentimes, the whiskeys that they blend with it are well over, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. And so you're getting some age statements in there. You're getting a beautiful blend of different whiskeys. This one is like a peanut butter Reese cup, in my humble opinion. This one was absolutely incredible. This is a C924. And so we did a review on that too. If you go back and you can watch that one too as well, and give me your thoughts and opinions on it. But this particular whiskey drinks way above its price point, so you don't have to hunt. These two whiskeys beat George T. Stagg. Now the MSRP for George T. Stagg is only like $120, but you will never get at that price. And oftentimes it's sell for well over $2,000. In fact, I remember watching What's the Father and Son at SLB Basement Bourbon. The dad picked this one over the George T. Stagg. I think it was a 2023 George T. Stagg. The dad picked this one over, and the son picked the George T. Stagg barely. He said he could have went either way. Excellent show. I love that show. SLB Basement Bourbon Bar or something like that. Just put SLB in and watch those guys. I can't think of their names right off the bat, but I just love the show. But anyway, long story short, you can find some very reasonably priced whiskey right in your store. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Incredible stuff is coming out of Heaven Hill. Incredible stuff is coming out of Wild Turkey. Incredible stuff is coming out of Journeyman's Distillery, the small distillery. And incredible stuff is coming out of Brown Foreman. Of course, you get Ross and Squibb and all of these other ones. This is Jim Beam here. This is New Rift. This is Barrel. This is Heaven Hill. And of course, Brown Foreman, Jack Daniels once again. And so some local stuff that you can get at your local liquor stores, you can find, and you can have some good sip. And so we're going to tell you what we're sipping on, something special here. None other than Legends. I'm telling you, you guys would actually enjoy this. All right, thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Whiskey Eats. And like we always say, please always drink moderately and responsibly. Y'all have a good day. Take care.